Awesome. Chapter 8. Now here I want to add a bit of a sales element to it, but it's going to be very important for you to know. All right? I'm always going to stress the fact that you need to understand objection handling in sales. So I'm going to add it here so you understand exactly what I mean. Right? So whenever you go and you actually view properties with people who want to come and buy or rent, okay, you want to adopt the habit of attempting to close them from the beginning that you actually meet them. In fact, before they even come to view the property and they send the inquiry, you want to call them or they text you about the property, you want to ask this one question, no matter if you ask it like this or in a different way. Hey, have you seen enough on the ad to make a decision on the property? Okay, now you can do this via phone call, you can do it via text. Okay? Either way you do it, you want to understand, are they ready to roll now? Or do they still have more questions? Or is there something else that you can ultimately show them enough to make a decision? And I'll break those 2 points down. Have they seen enough on that particular ad, yes or no? Now remember, your ad has all the pictures. Urban took the pictures, they're spectacular, right? The drone footage is there, everything is there, all the description, everything, the amount of bedrooms, it's a commercial, it's this, it's that, it's zoned for this, everything is there. Now have they seen enough to make a decision there? Because you've ultimately invested so much, right? You should expect a return, and that return should be someone who's like, you know what, hey, I've seen everything, I've read everything, I'm ready to roll. Where do I sign? Let's roll. You want those people, and you get them in various ways. You get people who've been to a building that you have a listing on, they've lived there before, right? In fact, they have so much money at this point, they don't care about seeing it, they really care about investing, right? You get people like that, and you want to get to the deal as fast as possible. You want to get to the close as fast as possible, and attempting to close them at the beginning of the conversation by asking them if they've seen enough to make a decision is your attempt to do that now as opposed to later. Even when you see and you meet someone and they've arrived at the property to actually view, the first thing you want to do, of course, after greeting them, appreciate them for coming out and taking their time to see you, the next question you want to ask before you ask anything is, hey, have you seen enough so far or thus far to make a decision? Most people will chuckle, but like, look, we just got here, we haven't seen anything. Ha 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 ha. Whatever they say at the end of the day, at that particular point, they know you're not here to play. You're ready to roll, right? You want to do business with them. Okay, they can appreciate you so much that they can even divulge some information. Hey, actually my friend, I was here yesterday. My friend lives here. So why are they even viewing? They know they viewed already via your friend, or via their friend, right? They viewed already. And at this point, you now have more confidence to know what closing questions and objections can you bring up right now to do the deal now, okay? But you always want to have the mindset of closing someone at all interactions, at every single time you meet or you text them or you speak to them on the phone, right? And the art of doing the walkthrough is that exactly. It's, hey, have you seen enough to make a decision, yes or no? If you haven't, great. What other information can I get you enough for you to make one? Okay, awesome. Other than that, is there any other information you need enough for you to make a decision? That's all you want to do. It's those 3 questions. Have you seen? Is there anything else? Besides that, what else can I get you? Those 3 questions. Wherever you pose them, however, you just need to make sure you always ask them so that you know exactly what you need to give and which points exactly matter to them the most, as opposed to saying, hey, the wall's green, hey, the carpet has just been this, or hey, it comes with that particular TV. They may not care about that, but you will know what they care about when you ask the right questions. All right. Now, throughout that actual walkthrough, there are certain closes and mini closes, but I'll let you go back to the sales training. That's where you'll get all the closing objections to ask. But the point is that throughout your entire walkthrough, you'll be asking questions like, hey, do you actually see yourself living here? Do you see yourself owning this property? Okay. Out of 0 to 10, where would you actually put it? I'll put it at an 8. Okay, great. What would take it to a 10? Right? It's asking the right questions enough to know if this is the right product or not, or if you actually need to go out there and show the person something else, right? Now keep that in mind. Even before you get to the walkthrough, you need to be able to send people all the opportunities that you have, or all the other options you have, so that you listen to this key factor so that you do not waste their time showing them something that they're not going to consider at all or even want, by failing to send them 4 or 5 other options before they even come. So much that they can say, you know what, good luck, you've sent me 6 options, let's take a look at these 3. Right? Once you have someone who's ready to do that, man, you're ultimately in the money because they're going to do business with you and not with anyone else. Okay, once you show them all 3, they're inclined to choose and not go and find someone else and go and set a schedule with someone else. They'll do everything with you because you've given them enough options for them to consider. Right? But you do not master the art of the walkthrough without you doing these 3 things, right? Or doing these things: asking the right questions, closing when you interact them, having many closes within their interaction, and of course showing them more options so that you can have walkthroughs to conclude. Right? Excellent. On-site pre-arrival preparation, that of course is imperative. You come when you arrive at the property 15 to 30 minutes before, so you make sure it's up to par for when you show. Right? Greeting your client professionally, right? So that's a standard. You'd be surprised, some people do not, but you need to be in the habit of doing it. Shake people's hands and then ask them the closing question. Okay, that can also be considered greeting them with professionalism, right? Because you want to do business with them. You're here to serve them, not to really play around with them. Okay, now opening the viewing, now active control mechanics and benefits over features, right? So this I'll leave for the PDF, right? Just go through that, right? I'm interested in more what you need to do now as opposed to the standard level of environmental command standards. So I'll move on to the next slide. Right, so reading signals and closing, okay? So reading key buyer signals and on-site closing questions. Now this is what I mentioned, right? Signals are people interacting with you, number 1, okay? Also, signals would come from the person who's with the person who's coming to look to buy, okay? Now in many cases, either it's a life partner or it's a friend or it's a relative who's coming with the person who called you, okay? Also, in most cases, it's both the people, but you need to be very aware of signals, and this is people participating with you, answering you, right, with the questions you ask. Well, hey, look, if you actually made this property yours, is there anything that you would change, or would you, or how would you use this particular route, right? You want to engage them and ask them how they would change things up, right? People come to you with certain concerns of, this bedroom is quite small. Okay, it makes sense. So how would you justify owning this property with such a small bed anyway? They're probably like, well, you know what, man, I'll probably use it as an office. Right? They've answered themselves already, right? That you could have thought you were smart and you try to highlight what they could do, but you just only want to have them justify it themselves because there's no better justification than the one that comes from them than the one that you think that you might know. Okay, but the point of this is to read certain signals enough to understand if someone will and can do business with you through the entire interaction by asking certain mini closes and closes and qualifying questions within that as well to ensure that you've got them on the right property. Because again, if it isn't the right property, you need to take full responsibility for that, or that person will never do business with you. Right, I'll leave that again for the PDF and move on to the next slide. Okay, conducting multiple viewings, key access code and security. Like I stress all the time, conduct multiple viewings or multiple people at a viewing, even multiple viewings in a day, because you want to fill up your pipeline with so much people, right? By having them all come, number 1, at the same day, or having them all come at the same time, right? And this is you filling up your pipeline. Also helps you create urgency, but you just want to make sure you're active whenever you're out, and you don't just go out for one viewing and go back to your house. Okay, utilize that time by having a lot of people come in one time or using one particular day to have a lot of viewings, right? And do business that way. Okay, so post-viewing feedbacks, of course, would be, hey, look, anything else you need right now to consider moving forward with the offer, or anything else that you need right now, in order to apply for this property. Now, you want to ask those questions before, but you also want to ask them after. Once they've moved away and they're together, you're away, right? There's certain things that they wouldn't want to tell you while they're with you for many reasons, but the point is you want to ask the same question or understand if you need anything else thereafter they've left you. enough for them to move forward to the close, right? But then I'll leave you with this particular quote. Outstanding property practitioners never show spaces. They orchestrate walkthrough experiences, direct the narrative. Remember that? They direct the narrative. In other words, you never ask questions you do not know answers to. Okay? They read implicit signals and treat every objection as a direct path toward assigned terms. Let's roll.